Welcome back to segment 7, The Coming of the Railroad, in the history of yesterday, today. In the news report of October the 21st, 1896, it was learned that the Plumas station was foretold as being the prettiest station in Manitoba as it neared its completion. A number of the contractors had left Dauphin District for the outside. However, contractor MacArthur's outfit was busy on the fill at the Vermilion, which was the biggest dump on the line. And by the end of October, most of the work between Gladstone and Oka River had been accomplished, including the laying of the track. Land surveyor A.F. Martin was almost completed in the Oka River townsite survey, and then would head off to Elliott to survey some lots where the station was to be located. One could only begin to surmise the anticipation and the excitement, knowing that the steel was less than 20 miles from the new town on the Vermilion. With the timing of the Pioneer Press edition dated November the 4th, the following was the editorial comment before the actual arrival of the rail. Quote, before another issue of the Pioneer Press reaches our readers, the railway will have been completed to the town of Dauphin, which by most people has looked on as the objective point, and by many as the Mecca, where ended their pilgrimage in search of a location which should bear all the features that make it desirable. To one and all, to the newcomer who has decided to settle here and take hold in the new country to try and knock out a living, and to the hardy pioneer who came over the mountain via Strathclair, or through the muskeg in the bush of the Neepawa route, and endured the hardships and the deprivations, the roughing it, and the do without of frontier life, the actual arrival of the railway marks an epoch in their history not soon forgotten or lightly remembered. Of course, of these, the old-timers, the hardy, grizzled veterans who have freighted over the rough roads, grubbed roots out of the breaking, hauled house logs from the bush, and put in a general all-around hard time of it, are the men to whom the coming of the railway facilities will mean the most. They and their wives and families have put in years of the best part of their lives in this district, practically isolated from the rest of the province, enjoying none of the comforts and conveniences of civilization, which were everyday affairs to all other Manitobans. Certainly they did not have to come here, but that is no argument, for the fact of such a large and comparatively thriving settlement existing, shut in from the outside world and lacking all the usual means of realizing on the fruits of their industry, it is itself proof that great natural advantages must exist here to offset the many disadvantages people must submit to in settling here. Such a large settlement alone was a sufficient interest to demand as a right recognition on the way of railway communication. And the case was much stronger from the fact that the country was here to back the demand. And the policy of the Dominion has been clear enough that railway development often preceded settlement where field existed. This being the case, it is small wonder that a feeling of dissatisfaction was strong here, and the several false alarms of the Hudson's Bay construction have accentuated the feeling. When the project of building this road as a virtual colonization road was broached last winter, it was small wonder that the people of the Dauphin district had little faith in it. However, the case was different. The Dominion government was not moving in the matter, though the company is under Dominion charter. The local government had taken the matter up, and it was this altered position that gave greater guarantee of the accomplishment of the undertaking. In several ways, it was a wise act of the government to push the matter as they have done." End quote. By the end of October 1896, much activity was happening around the new town. The bridge building crew were camped at the Vermilion, having an extensive outfit of horses and wagons and about 25 men employed. Surveyor Martin was in the new town to take an observation in order to determine the astronomical meridian of Dauphin, being a required formality before the registering of the town plan could be made. Closer, the rails were coming, reported on November the 4th as being 2 miles past the Edwards Creek, with the anticipation of being at the Vermilion before Saturday. On the previous Monday, the bridge building gang set to work on the Vermilion Bridge, with the driving of piles. It was said that the pile driver had an 1,800-pound drop. The bridge construction could commence with contractor MacArthur now being done with the big fill. It remained the intention of the company to continue past the new town and continue the track laying to beyond Valley River, as well as installing sidings at Valley River and at the end of the grade beyond the valley before they were done for the season. The track laying crew said that they had heard that they were going to be given a big send-off by the settlers when they reached Dauphin. Letting one's imagination be exercised. It must have been like an early Christmas gift to the many settlers who for years had been calling on the government to build a railway into the Dauphin country. Through that hard work of many and the enterprise of Messrs. Mackenzie and Mann, Santa had performed a miracle. The new town on the Vermilion was soon going to experience change like no other. Stay tuned for more news of the coming of the railroad, folks. We'll see you next time. Stay well, my friends.